You guys got all romantic, didn't you? Yeah. If you get a choice to sit it out or dance, what are we going to choose, right? How many of you like to dance? I know some of you. Wow. Hello. So anyway, that was a nice talk. Yeah, because when I was growing up, my friends, guy friends, they would rather die. Except for me. Because I figured that was my way in, was to dance. So it was. And I think it's kind of like life. It's like, are you going to sit out? There's nothing worse for me, personally, than wanting to do something and sitting there in the chair wishing that was me. And not having the courage, maybe, to get up and dance. And it's so funny because you'll ask somebody, do you dance? And men will usually go, yeah, but I'm just not very good at it, you know. Well, no one asked you if you were good at it. They just asked you to dance. And I know that my mom was a great dancer. My dad was not. And so my dad would always say, let him dance with, he was in the army. He just didn't go down the street and let every man dance with her. But they'd be in the service. He'd say, dance with my wife because she really goes for it and I can't do the steps. But I think in life, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be if you're good. It just means you need to move. I mean, I think of that whole idea of just getting up and moving, get up and dancing, the dance of life. Haven't you ever seen somebody out on the dance floor and the music's going one way and they're going the other? You know what I mean? Yeah, celebration. And I said, at least they're out there. At least they're on the dance floor of life. Can I hear amen? So anyway, let's talk about Neil Donald Walsh for a moment. I ask for a sign, not because I think something's outside of me, but every once in a while I'll be in a dilemma. I'll go, just give me a little sign here. And so he popped up, and I wanted to share him with you. We all know Neil from Conversations with God and a whole career based on just metaphysics and etc. Okay, so he says, caution is natural, but fear is not. And I really want to read this in absolute slow motion because it really hits home. Caution is natural, but fear is not. Do not give in to fear, yet do not abandon caution. It's a balancing act. Caution, I love this, is what causes you to look both ways before crossing the street. Right? Fear is what keeps you frozen on the curb forever. You know the difference. You can feel it. If you're stuck right now in your life, you're probably into fear, because that's usually when we get paralyzed. And he says in a wonderful, gentle way, get out of there. You've already looked both ways. Now cross the street, for heaven's sakes. The cars have long since gone. The coast is clear. Your only obstacle now is your own mind. And I had this great little visual with that idea that you're like right out here, you just walk out there and there's a car, I'll wait. There's a car, oh, okay. Or they'll stop, maybe. And then it would be like, okay, never mind. Never mind. And there's nothing wrong with not crossing the street. But I'll tell you one thing, I do not want to get to the end of my life in this body and go, I wish I had danced. Or I wish I had crossed the street. Because the pain that I understand in life for me is when I really want something, but I don't move towards it. Because it's never going, the fear is probably never going to leave until you take the action. At least for me, that is what I've experienced. I want you to think for a minute about something that you've been talking about. Have you ever done that? I just love this. Easier said than done. The reason that it's easier is because we never stop talking and planning it out and pros and cons and this and that. And then eventually, it was like coming here. Eventually, I had to get on the plane. I just had to get on the plane. So think about something that you've been talking about and have not taken action on it for just a moment. Wow. Not taking action. It can be something big or big small. And then take some time to ask yourself some questions. Why does movement scare me so? And then be honest. This whole idea of trying to fake everybody out, they'll never see that I'm scared. Oh, yes, we will. Because if you're not moving towards it and you're talking about it day after day, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. No, I'm just kidding. then it's time to look both ways and go. I was thinking of when I put this on Facebook, this quote, because I figured it was given to me, I might as well give it to someone else. And I got a response. That's okay, it's a good one. I don't always get great responses on Facebook, but when you go out to the dance floor, not everybody wants to dance with you, just FYI. But he wrote, and this is Glenn Head, and I'm so glad to be able to quote somebody from the center, and he's probably online now if he is. Thanks, Glenn. I kind of gave you a heads up I might use it. So he responded to this, and he loved this quote, and he said, so I'm asking to any of us, they're asking ourselves, why are we afraid? What is it going to take? And that's a great question. What's it going to take to allow us to move forward, to cross the street? What's it going to take? What is it going to take inside of me to take all the words that Reverend Rita was saying and to love everyone? I know that even when she was talking, my idea was, yeah, really good in theory, but really good in theory. Did you say everyone? And you know what? It is everyone. And that's going to take a little time in some areas of my life. But I know that's the goal because it either is or it isn't. And we love loopholes, by the way. So anyway, this is what, so why are we afraid to take action? And Glenn Head, the master prophet, said, fear of being seen as less than perfect keeps many of us from taking even a step or a breath towards something new. Allowing the God in hiding to emerge opens up infinite possibilities and one's capacity to change the world. And that's what I think that at least our ministry is all about. That's what we're doing here. We're here for many reasons, by the way. We're a fabulous spiritual networking center, by the way, as well. And that's okay. We're a community. We're a ohana. But I think that that's what we're hiding from. If there really is, what we're saying is there's a God, there's a presence, there's a light that lives within us. But it's kind of like hiding, right? Because if I show you that, and that's been my faith in crisis that I've had in this philosophy, trust me. Because I get up here as authentic as I can be in the given moment. And I believe with every fiber of my being that there is a power that lives within me and within each and every one of us. And I have to dare to do that. I have to cross the street and do that. Even when you might be sitting there going, he's out of his mind. But being out of my mind isn't my goal. My goal is to be in mind. And it's really difficult, but guess what? We're the messengers. I'm only responsible for what I say, not how it's received. And that's can we say this live, butt kicker? Because I would have said something else if I was on the street, but there's cars coming. But I thought that to myself. I said, this is what this is really about, is to say that I am that God presence what do? You just keep saying it, right? And you keep feeling it. And you keep waiting for the moment that we arrive individually to that moment. And it's not about getting religious science. Ernest, I know you did because he's the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit. But it's about getting who we are. It's about having the opportunity to allow the God that's in hiding. Oh, I used to love hide and seek when I was a kid. And I love that when we would say, come out wherever you are. And that's what this whole philosophy is. Come out wherever you are. And some days, it is hard to look at God talking back to you in certain situations. But how long can we use that as our excuse? We're all experiencing something different in every moment. Wow. Back to crisis and faith for a moment. I've had some as of late because I can't live in a house, this house, divided against itself. And I was telling Rita in one of our early morning 3:30 talks, 4. But I was thinking of the idea of Indiana Jones. And this is how I feel where I'm at in my evolution, just to share it with you. We're all at different areas, but it's when he went to the edge and he puts his foot out there, it makes me want to cry, to be honest with you. Because that's what I feel like I'm being asked to do. Theory's beautiful. I cradle up with theory like you just cannot believe. But there's coming a time when I have to know that if I go off this cliff and 100% accept spirit as my identity, as my true identity, no matter what, that there'll be something there to catch me. And I won't know that until I jump. I won't know. Because unfortunately, that horrible God that lives outside of ourselves, no, I'm just kidding. She, spirit, has to say, you go ahead. I'm with you. I love you. And you have to go. And if there's nothing there to catch me, it had to still be worth it to take that kind of risk, to love that kind of love. And I'm going to fall and get back up, fall, get back up, fall, get back up. Or maybe I'll just fly. Maybe I'll just fly. Ernest Holmes, look at me, we're getting all real on each other. I love that. We're being afraid of not being perfect, but we are perfect. But here's why it doesn't look that way, because we have to activate it. We already have everything we could ever need. Everything. And more. Ernest, I've had it with him. It's my turn, Mr. Holmes. So this is what he does say, because he says, please quote me. What the world needs is spiritual conviction, followed by, he says, interpretive dance, Patrick. That's your, so do you know, after 8 years of standing up here, did you know that there are very few things, a phone is the least of the things that I could ever be thrown with, just to let you know. And I have been short of thrown at, I've had them all. So what the world needs is, I love life. You can cry, you can laugh, it's just all beautiful, man. Man? What kind of... My 16-year-old just channeled me. I'm sorry. Dude! Oh my gosh. I feel like dancing. Okay, what the world needs is spiritual conviction, followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have him repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. And it's true, right? So here's the deal. Even if we don't want to dance, because it really it's my freaking closer here, man. Oh hell. Take this book out of here. I'm tired of it. Okay, here we go. Wow, life is good. Okay, so here it is. This thing about not, either you're in or dance. Sometimes, maybe I don't want to dance. That's okay. But the message that came to me from my 16-year-old, then own it. Own it. Own it all. You said something you shouldn't have said, own it. Apologize, do whatever it's okay. Own it. I was thinking about that. Not everybody wants to dance, but own it. And that's all I ask of my life and my ministry, call it whatever you want. It's just own it. Let's just own it one little thing at a time. I'm looking at all your beautiful faces, and every one of us is at a different place in our lives. But there's one place that we share at every moment, no matter what, and that is love. And I know until I can look in the face of that person, that experience, that does not look lovable and looks unlovable, is my absolute opportunity to love. Because it ain't easy, but it can be done. Just take a deep breath, look at it in the face, whether it be dis-ease, whether it be relationship, and say, I don't know really what to do with this, but I'm going to love myself through this. And go. Namaste, my friends.